You just got your spine, so here's a couple of tips and tricks to make sure that you get the most out of your new Gunstock. We are going to be demoing the spine with the Quest 3 mounts or the Quest 3S, but if you want to see it with the PSVR 2 or the Index or Quest 2 or any of those, let us know in the comments and we can make it happen for you. The first thing we want to cover is assembly. There's not a lot of steps to it, but we've seen a lot of people making a mistake at the very beginning because they're not watching the assembly video, and we will be inserting new picture assembly inserts with the stock. But basically, when you're putting on this extension screw, make sure you do it properly. You'll see the screw on the left side should not be visible. It should be insert into the part, and then on the outside, on the right side, it should be visible. Don't make that mistake because it will mess with the integrity of the stock itself, and we don't want you breaking any parts and having to wait for your warranty replacements. For the controller mounts that you get with your Quest 3 or Quest 3S Gunstock, you'll notice these mounts have a hole on the side here. That's for something like these leather straps we offer on our website, or like the AMVR knuckle straps, the active meta straps, all those kind of things that utilize this style that replaces the battery cover. That's what it's meant for, and it'll work very beautifully, and it makes it for a lot better experience. So I highly recommend upgrading those if you do have the extra funds. Sling positioning is a very important factor with the stock, because if you're using a third-party sling with a larger frame, you want to make sure when it's hanging and you're aiming down your sights, it's not going to be blocking your tracking. We also included this bungee sling, and we developed it because of this stock, because it has a small profile. It's very comfortable and it's rubbing on your neck, and it's very versatile, and it's got some give to it. There's a couple different ways you could be mounting your sling to your stock. If you're using the bungee, what I personally like to do is have the QD point that you get included with your stock on the inside of the extension, and then you have the sling mounted on the outside of the buttstock. If you have it mounted like so, when you're not using the stock, it's going to be resting on your hip, and it'll be out of the way entirely. And then when you need to go aim down your sights and grab your gun, you simply just bring the controller to your hip, and your controller will find the stock body itself. It's very fluid if you do it a couple times. Alternatively, what you can do is take off the sling point from the buttstock and put both on this QD point. So when you put your trigger hand through the sling as well as your head, it'll rest right in the middle of your body, and it's really, really comfortable. Downside is when your controllers are disconnected, you might find your controller mount grabbing on your shirt when you go to mount it to the stock. This is another option, and it feels very comfortable, but you're just gonna have to figure out for yourself what is most efficient. So this next tip for Quest users I think is very important. So what you wanna do is take your trigger hand and slide it just about almost all the way back, and keep your thumb disconnected from your controller and rest it on the extension itself. That way you can still access your thumbsticks, but you have a little bit more stability and control over your stock. I find this very, very nice, and when I play with this stock, I always do this. So give it a shot and let me know what you think. Disconnecting the controllers with the spine, it might be a little bit daunting in the very beginning, but when you develop the muscle memory, it's gonna feel very fluid after a couple hours. When you disconnect, if you tilt forward or backwards, you're gonna find it's the easiest to remove the controller. You can still do so by twisting, but you'll find it's much easiest to go forward and backward. So really it just takes your own preference and really feeling the stock out for yourself to find out what feels most fluid to you. Bolt actions are another thing that are kind of tricky. What I find myself doing is I twist my trigger hand off the stock and I apply a small amount of pressure that way. I go up and kind of towards myself. So I feel the stock being pinned to the butt with my offhand, and then I can easily disconnect the trigger hand from the stock body. That one's gonna be a little bit more tricky, but give it some time. If you wanna see more details and you wanna see demos of how we use each gun with this stock, leave a comment below. Last two things I wanna mention is one, you'll see this little loop on the front here, not the one on the very top on the side. That's for your weapon charm. And two, we actually have a buffer tube upgrade for the spine, so you can have an adjustable buttstock, or if you have a different cheek rest, anything that works for your airsoft guns or your real AR rifles, you can attach it to this stock. It might throw off the weight balance a little bit, so keep that in mind if you do decide to get the buffer tube. It's only $9, but other than that, hope everything helped for you. Leave a comment if you want to see anything else. Leave a like if you want to see more. As always, keep shooting.